are at Poppy's house on a Saturday morning. We're here, we're gonna enjoy a little bit of time together. Now, I've made biscuits on the channel before, but this time I'm gonna make biscuits and sausage gravy because we're coming into that season. This is kind of a thing that we do every Christmas morning. We have biscuits and sausage gravy, so I'm gearing up. You know, I do this pretty regularly through the year, but it's always good to check it out, make sure everything is flowing the right way. So we're gonna do it this morning as a precursor to Christmas Day, which is, my goodness, can you believe it, 21 days away. So we're going to do biscuits and sausage gravy, and it's a super easy thing. I will walk through the basics of biscuits again. I'm not gonna belabor it a long time because I definitely have a video on that and you can go out and see the biscuits. But we're going to make up some buttermilk biscuits, roll them out, cut them, put them on a pan, and get them all ready for a beautiful sausage gravy this morning. I hope you're gonna enjoy it. Make sure you like and that you subscribe and that you tell your friends about the Pot's Place channel. We have right now 203 subscribers, which is, like in YouTube terms, that's like nobody, but y'all are everything to me. So like, that's fabulous. So 203 subscribers. I had mentioned before, when we get to 250 subscribers, I am going to give away one of my cast iron pots. I love this pot. My daughter gave me this pot for Christmas a few years ago, and let me tell you, I use the fire out of this thing, and it's perfect. It doesn't stain. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not Le Creuset, but you know what? Who needs Le Creuset? That's a little expensive. If you have Le Creuset, you don't need this pot, but somebody out there might, and this is a good size cast iron with ceramic coated Dutch oven, and I think they have them in like red and green and white and blue, and whoever wins, basically I'm going to use a random subscriber picking generator to pick one of my subscribers, and that person is going to get their choice. Whatever color, we'll have it shipped right to them. So make sure you tell a friend, make sure you try for the pot. It's good stuff, right? Okay, so in a moment we're going to come back. Let me put my pot down. We're going to make biscuits first, and then we're going to make sausage gravy, and it's going to be amazing. All right, so y'all know me. You know I am not going to make biscuits without Old Trusty. We got Old Trusty laying there. That's my cast iron skillet that I have probably had for near to 30 years. Long time. How are we going to make the biscuits? For the biscuits, we need self-rising flour, we need buttermilk, and we need butter. And I'm only going to do a small batch of biscuits because there's only 2 of us here this morning. For the sausage gravy, I have a tube of regular country sausage, and I'm not going to use the whole thing, probably only use about 1/3 of it. And then we will use a little bit of flour as a thickening agent. We will use milk as the base, and then salt and pepper. And it's going to be so good. Y'all, this is so simple, but so amazing. You're going to love this recipe. Super easy. It's the kind of thing you can replicate again and again. And this basic gravy, this basic milk gravy, it works for so many different things. You can do this with drippings from country fried steak or any of that. This basic milk gravy works across the board. So you're going to love it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is a cup of self-rising flour in the bowl. Not super hard. That's a 1/2 cup measure. I'm going to do one more. Super easy. We'll need some more flour because we're going to use that for rolling and for dusting, and that's always really good. The next step of this, we need about 3 tablespoons of butter, and this is approximately 3 tablespoons right here. We'll throw that in. I could have chopped that a little better. It would have been smarter probably, but you like cold butter when you're making biscuits. That's a good idea. But basically what you're doing is you're using a pastry cutter, and get a knife here so we can do what we need to do. Make sure that we can cut this off the tines of that pastry cutter, or the dough cutter as some call it. And basically you're going to cut the butter into the flour. Doesn't take a super long time, maybe 3-5 minutes, something like that. I'll probably fast forward through this. All right. So now we have cut that butter into the flour, and if you'll notice, it's just a nice, coarse crumb in there, and that's exactly what we're looking for. You don't want anything too large a chunk. Now I'm gonna bring old Trusty over here, and you can do this with vegetable oil spray. I like butter if I have the extra butter, so basically what I do is I'm gonna take this remnant of butter here that I had from another stick, and I am going to really grease the bottom of this pan with the butter. That butter, because it has a lower smoke point and a lower melting point, when I put that biscuit in here, it's going to kind of brown the bottom of that biscuit a little better than would, vegetable oil or vegetable oil spray. So you really, for a gravy, when you're doing biscuits with gravy, you kind of want a better crust on the biscuit. I do this with, of course, sausage gravy, but with tomato gravy or different types of gravy that I do. And so we've greased that. We will set it aside. I am going to use the very same half-cup measuring cup. I just ran to the store for this buttermilk. I could have made some, you add a little vinegar, and I did that before when I made the biscuits, but there's something about the real buttermilk, the real dealio. So I'm going to add this. Making biscuits is a bit of an art. Not really, there's a science to it, but basically what you want to do is we want to get the dough to a point, and what my grandma used to call it was shaggy. You want to integrate all of this. You don't want to beat the crap out of it, You want that flour incorporated, the butter incorporated, and you're going to create what you call a shaggy dough. Now this is not a large quantity that I'm making this morning. I might get 5 biscuits out of this. Very small quantity. If you notice how it's still kind of sticky, you kind of see me doing this, kind of sticky. That's what you want at this phase, okay? That becomes important. Will this stick to your hands? You betcha. It absolutely will stick to your hands. And we'll get that off the spoon. But what I'm gonna do is sprinkle just a little flour on this and the spoon, and then we're gonna use the counter. I got my little bit of shaggy dough fell out on the counter. My counter is very clean, so don't worry about that. Cleaned it real good. And I'm gonna roll that shaggy dough right out there, and I'm gonna go ahead and use my hand, get that little bit of dough off the spoon, because otherwise we're gonna miss out on that little bite. All right, super easy. And this is what you want to do. You do not want to go crazy with biscuits. Biscuits can very easily become tough, and that is not what we're after. But what you're doing is you're going to flatten it with your hand and fold it over. Literally, I do this one-handed, not a huge dealio. If it feels like it's a little too sticky, I'll add just a little flour, but not too much. And we just double this over with our hands, not too hard. I find working biscuit dough extremely calming. Makes me very happy. Something very, very calming about this. So a little bit of flour on that outside now, because I want to make sure that it's not going to stick to my biscuit cutter when I get that out. And literally, you can fold this over on top of itself, I would say about 10, 15 times. Not that big a deal. Let me run over and grab my biscuit cutter. Perfect. Now, old Trusty's coming over. Let's do that. And I've got my little biscuit cutter here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut a biscuit. See what we got? That's a big one. Could have gone a little thinner on that, but that's all right. We might get 4 biscuits out of this one. Who knows? But there's only 2 of us, so that'd be all right. Kind of fold that one over. Cut it. Look at there. Look how beautiful. Y'all seeing that going in the pan? We're not gonna make that many. Might get a 4th biscuit out of this. I hope we do. There's always what we call an ugly biscuit. That's with the dough that's a little too small to cut. Not bad, actually. Not bad at all. And if you'll notice, that ugly biscuit's got a crack in it, so it'll bust wide open, but that's all right. And that's really all we have left over from the dough. We'll clean this up and we'll get started on our sausage gravy. I'm going to start this oven up on a 450, and I'm probably going to do my little oven on the other side of the room because it kind of heats up faster and it's a smaller space, but we'll kind of be ready for our breakfast a little quicker that way. So we're going to start with sausage. Now, I'm not making a huge mass of this right now. I'm only using about a third of that tube because there's only a few of us here, so it doesn't make sense to go crazy with this. I'm going to fry up this sausage, and it doesn't take very long. We'll get it nice and brown, and then I'll transfer the sausage to a bowl right here, and then I'll make up the gravy. And the gravy is super easy to make up, not difficult at all. Of course, we have our milk on standby. We'll do salt and pepper, and that's really good. But I'm just going with regular country sausage, and to me, that makes a really great sausage gravy, so that's what I'm going with. When this is frying up, we'll come back and we'll show you how we put together the gravy. Okay, sausage is frying up real nice. You know, it seems kind of like a lean sausage, so I'm probably going to throw a pat of butter in here just so I have a basic oil for, you know, cooking my gravy. Not releasing as much oil as I thought it would. So, you know, you can do that, or you can do a little bit of olive oil, whatever you prefer. I like the butter because butter is sexy. Just like Poppy. Woohoo! All right. And don't worry about anything that's stuck on the bottom of this pan because it is absolutely going to be part of the amazingness of this gravy, which we're going to use kind of a wooden spatula for the bottom of this to kind of get this up. You'll notice the pink is cooking out of this, not taking it very long at all. That is my oven at temperature, so I will be right back in un momento. Let me throw these biscuits in. Because I'm using my little oven, I'll definitely keep a strong eye on it because I want to make sure that they don't get too brown on one side. I've got a very nice countertop oven. You know, I can bake a turkey in it. It's a good size oven, and I love it for pies and, you know, small cooking, so I don't have to fire up the big boy, and that's all right. And so basically at this point I've gotten that sausage nice and brown. If there's a tiny bit of pink in it, it's not that big a deal because once it goes back in that hot gravy, it'll finish cooking the rest of the way. But we think this is mostly done. Looks really good. Don't worry about them little bits on the bottom because we're going to cook them in too. You find out. All right. Next step, I'm going to throw this pat of butter in there. Woohoo! Look at that. I have my all-purpose flour over here. I don't want to touch that with that measuring spoon. Just going to move it about and get that a-going. Looks real good. About to smoke up my house here. Probably don't want to do the exhaust fan with y'all here. I'm not going to do a whole lot. A couple of tablespoons of flour maybe, just so we can make a nice gravy. And I'll let this brown just a little bit. And that's going to stick in them drippings. Don't worry about it. Pretty easy. And all that will come up because this is a non-stick pan. So you don't want to let that flour burn, but you want it to just toast a little bit. Looks nice. Now, time for the milk, baby. Here we go. Now, milk gravy has been a thing in my family my whole life. My granddaddy made it. The thing that I know about milk gravy, and especially sausage gravy, when you're making this, my granddad used to make it. And if somebody else would make it and they made it too thick, he would call it Bob Sop. Bob Sop is basically the gravy got too thick. And when you're making gravy, you need to think in terms of this. The thickness that it is on the stove, it's going to be thicker when you take it off the stove. So you almost want it to not quite be thick enough when you're making it on the stove. So a little more milk. There we go. And basically this will make a nice gravy, and I haven't even seasoned this. This is just the sausage, the milk, a little bit of flour. We'll let that thicken up. I'm going to go ahead and re-add and reintegrate that sausage into this gravy. Y'all, I hope you can see how beautiful this is. So amazing. Now I'm turning down the heat because we don't need it any hotter than it is. If it gets too thick, add a little more milk. Yeah, that's super easy. Now, I had my salt and pepper grinders out there. I may use my pepper grinder, but I'm gonna go with maybe a good little teaspoon of salt or so. You can see that, can't you? Look how beautiful. Now that is almost gonna get a little thick, so I always stay close by with a little bit of milk, not too much. We're just gonna keep it thin and reasonable. Have not put any pepper in it yet. May use my grinder for that because I love fresh ground black pepper. Salt, I've never quite seen the mistake. Ooh, baby. Smell that pepper. All right. This is beautiful, thick gravy and not a huge portion. We didn't want to go crazy with this because, again, you only have a few people at home. There's a lot of people who think, oh, it's just me. You can cook for just you, and you deserve that. You absolutely deserve to cook yourself a meal. Even if you live by yourself, even if you're single, you deserve to eat a decent home-cooked meal. Do it. Make yourself something. You know how to do it? Do it. If you don't know how to do it, I guess you order DoorDash. But, and believe me, I order my share of DoorDash. Yesterday, I was so stupid, y'all. I hadn't had a McRib yet this year, so like I'm cooking pinto beans and rice and had this huge dinner ready, you know, and I hadn't had my McRib yet this year. You know, they only do them like a month out of the year. So I ordered up on DoorDash and got myself a McRib and some fries and ate that, and then I ate my dinner too, because that's how fat people work. But anyway, all right, so we're just going to keep this warm on the stove until our biscuits are ready, and it will not take very long at all. I'll be right back with you. Probably going to edit a lot of that out because I've been talking and talking. So we'll come back as soon as the biscuits are done, and we'll plate it up and take a look. Okay, biscuits are out of the oven, and literally, this don't take very long, y'all. I'm serious when I say in a half hour, you can be having a delicious breakfast. I love to put butter on top of these biscuits. There's the ugly biscuit. There's always an ugly biscuit. At least in my world there is. A little bit of melted butter on them. And y'all, I can't even express this at how amazing this is. I feel kind of guilty, but let's see. Like, can you see that biscuit and the layers and how sexy it is? Y'all, I am not kidding. I'm gonna move this biscuit pan over here on the counter. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. We're gonna split that biscuit open. You see that? Go ahead and get me another one because I can. Uh-oh, tore him up, but that's all right because it's all going to the same place. Y'all, do you see this amazing sausage gravy over the top of these biscuits? So stinking amazing. And I got a couple of more biscuits. My daughter's not a big bread person, so if I want one with some jelly or honey or something later, maybe some apple butter, that's what I did before, we'll do that. This is so good. You watched me whip them up. Here they are. These biscuits and gravy are going to be just what the doctor ordered. It's not cold, but it was in the 40s this morning outside. Okay, we're going to give it a try, and it's hot. Can you see the steam coming off them biscuits? Look at that. Can you see it kind of? Yeah. Heavens to Murgatroyd, that's good. People ask me, why are you single? I don't know. When I can cook like this, I do not know. Maybe it's because I'm irritating. I don't know. But I can cook. Y'all, I'll tell you this. Can you buy canned biscuits? Yes. Can you buy frozen biscuits? Yes. Are they easier than this? Yes, but not very much. And this is so good. You can eat this in less than a half hour on a weekend. It's not the kind of thing you're going to make on your way to work in the morning, but it's so good, and you definitely need to try it. So give it a shot. I hope you're going to like and subscribe. Let folks know about the Pop's Place channel. We're excited about what's going on. We're building a community, not just videos. We want to connect with you, and we definitely want to hear from you. So say something in the comments about your favorite breakfast recipe, or maybe you have a different way you do sausage gravy. I'd like to hear about it. So let me know. We will talk to you next time, and I don't know what I'm cooking next time yet because I haven't really thought it through, but we're gonna do something great because it's Pop's Place, you know. All right, we'll talk to you soon.